What still makes you cry to this day? When I was 12, my older brother Kier was 16. We weren't like super close or anything. Typical sibling stuff. He thought I was annoying. I thought he was a jerk. But we had our moments. Kier was really into drawing these weird little comic characters. Nothing amazing artistically, but they were his thing. You know, he had this one character that was basically a blob with stick arms that he called Gloop. Sounds dumb, but Kier would draw Gloop doing all these random things and sometimes leave them around the house to make our mom laugh. Anyway, middle school was rough for me. Like seriously rough. I was this awkward kid with braces and glasses and zero fashion sense. There was this group of girls led by this girl, Violet, who decided I was their personal punching bag that year. They do all the typical mean girl stuff, leaving me out, whispering when I walked by. But the worst was when they started passing me notes in class or stuffing them in my backpack when I wasn't looking. Just mean stuff about how nobody liked me, how ugly I was, etc. I never told anyone about the notes. Not my parents, not my teachers, nobody. I just stuffed them in my backpack and tried to forget about them. But one day in April, I came home from school feeling completely defeated after Violet and her friends had been particularly cruel at lunch. I trudged up to my room, threw my backpack on the floor, and just collapsed on my bed, only to find a folded piece of paper on my pillow. At first, I thought it was somehow another mean note, but when I unfolded it, it was a drawing of Gloop, but like superhero Gloop with a little cape and everything. And Gloop was standing on top of what was clearly supposed to be a mean girl. He'd written bully with an arrow pointing to her. And Gloop had this speech bubble that said, "Nobody messes with my sister." I was so confused because I never told Kier about the bullying. Turns out he'd seen me throwing away one of the notes in our kitchen trash and had picked it out when I left the room. He never said anything to me about it, never confronted me or tried to give me advice or anything. He just quietly drew that picture and left it on my bed. I broke down crying right there in my room, like full-on ugly crying. My mom heard me and came in, and I ended up telling her everything about the bullying. She called the school the next day, and the whole thing eventually got addressed, though that's another story. The thing is, Kier and I never talked about it, not once. He never mentioned the drawing. I never thanked him for it. It was this weird unspoken thing between us. I kept that drawing, though, folded it up, and put it in this little box where I kept special things. Fast forward to when I was 17, Kier was away at college, and things were better between us. We actually talked sometimes and didn't fight as much when he was home. But then, God, this is still so hard to type out. He was in a car accident. He wasn't driving. He was the passenger, and his friend who was driving was fine. But Kier wasn't wearing his seatbelt, and he didn't make it. I completely fell apart. We all did. My parents, our extended family, everyone. The following weeks were a blur of funeral arrangements and me just staring at walls for hours. About a month after the funeral, I was going through some of my things and found that box with the Gloop drawing. And I just lost it all over again because that stupid, simple little drawing was the purest expression of love my brother ever showed me. He didn't need recognition or thanks. He just saw his little sister in pain and did the one thing he knew how to do. He drew her a picture to make her feel better. Because it wasn't just a drawing. It was my brother saying, "I see you. I care about you. I've got your back," without saying a word.